Getting right into today's video, we're gonna be changing out her design. If you've been following me for a minute or if you are new to my channel, this is Colette. We're gonna be changing her nails. We pretty much do fills on her sets, and then once in a while she gets a new set. So we're gonna go ahead and do a fill on this set. We absolutely love her base color, and I feel like it goes really well with whatever color she wants. So we're just gonna be keeping that for now. I do have my Efile at a speed of 11,000 RPMs. Along with that, I'm using a medium grit 5-in-1 bit from Kiara Sky, and I'm gonna be removing that design. So I am using about a medium amount of pressure when doing this process. I wanna be extra gentle because I don't wanna remove any of the acrylic at this point. I just want to simply remove that design and her top coat. Now, if she does have lifting, I will go ahead and focus on that area. She has a very, very minimal amount of lifting, so I don't have to do a crazy amount of prep for that. So I'm pretty much just focusing on removing that design. Now, I did go ahead and ask her if she wanted me to trim down her nails at all, and she said like the smallest amount. So I went ahead and just used my Efile to carefully remove the smallest amount. And I figured once I go in and file once again to shape them out, it'll get filed down a little bit. So we are pretty much just doing the most minimal amount of trimming her nails. As the nails do grow, I always make sure to ask if they want me to cut them down at all, just for their comfort. Next, I'm gonna be taking my hand file. This is the Not Polish hand file, and I'm gonna be pretty much focusing on those areas that still have a little bit of gel paint, gel polish, or whatever it is on the sides. Not so much focusing on the shaping as of now. So we're just gonna be focusing on removing all that gel paint and prepping the nail. Next, I'm gonna be taking the mandrel bit from Profiles Backstage along with their purple medium grit sanding bands, and I do have my speed of my Efile at 4,000 RPMs. Very, very light amount of pressure when doing this process. I'm gonna be taking my bit and going from my right side, since I am right-handed, to my left side very carefully. I'm pretty much going to be buffing off that shine from her natural nail while also kind of pushing back her cuticle. I always skip that step with a cuticle pusher just because I feel like it's not super necessary if I could do it with my bit. But by all means, if you're not comfortable pushing back that cuticle with your bit, definitely recommend use a cuticle pusher. It always helps kind of get all that dead skin off and expose a little bit more of that natural nail so that all the product adheres a lot better. So I did have a little bit of lifting on this nail specifically, so I'm gonna go ahead and try to remove that. Very light amount of pressure. I'm going to be buffing off that lifted portion. And to fully remove that dead skin from that cuticle area, we're gonna be taking this diamond bit from Profiles Backstage. It is one of my favorites. It's nice and tapered at the tip, so it's super small and it's able to get into those hard to reach areas. Now I'm gonna go ahead and just use that in the cuticle area to finish removing that dead skin. Very carefully, very light amount of pressure. My Efile is still at 4,000 RPMs. Next, I'm gonna be taking this cuticle ball bit also from Profiles Backstage, and we're just gonna be gently buffing off her dead skin. I could always use my nippers, but sometimes I just choose not to depending on how bad it is. And if she doesn't request me to trim them, I don't. Definitely recommend trying to minimize the amount of trimming y'all do. Some states show you guys how to do it. I know I wasn't really taught how to do it, so till this day I'm a little bit scared. So I really don't do it unless it is necessary or it's on myself. I'm gonna be cleansing that natural nail and dehydrating it all at once using a lint-free wipe and a little bit of Young Nail Swipe. Along with that, we're gonna be finished prepping her nail with the XXX Bond from Not Polish. I do use 2 coats of that for reference. So I go ahead and do one hand and then the next hand, and then I go back to the first hand that I did with that second coat. Now for our fill, for reference, I'm using the Kiara Sky Monomer, and then I'm using a size 10 acrylic brush from Profiles Backstage. And then for this beautiful nude color, I'm using Sea Salt Caramel from Not Polish. It is my absolute favorite for deeper skin tones. 10 out of 10 recommend. It looks really, really good on my clients' nails and against my skin as well, just for a little bit of reference, but it looks so good and it just matches with all the colors. So I'm gonna go in and do my basic fill application. I'm using about a medium-sized bead of acrylic, and I pretty much just hold the finger downwards, press that in, and then I gently push it up while again holding the finger downwards. And I'm just barely pushing that upwards towards the cuticle, letting gravity do its thing and pull the product naturally down. And then I simply start blending everything out, and I make sure that I get those sides nice and crisp. Now sometimes I do need a little bit more product, so I will get the smallest amount of acrylic and just go ahead and infill any of those sidewalls that may need a little bit more acrylic. Now once everything is fully dry, we're gonna go in and seal those cuticles with a 5-in-1 bit. Again, same one that I used at the beginning. This is a 5-in-1 bit from Kiara Sky in medium grit. It is pretty old, so at this point, I'm pretty sure it's more of a fine grit, but I'm gonna go ahead and get right up on that cuticle area and file that acrylic, making sure that it is nice and flush to her natural nail. And then I'm quickly taking that same bit with the same speed of 11,000 RPMs, and I'm gonna go over top of the entire surface to smooth everything out. Now do know, if you're newer to using an e-file, the higher you go in speed, the smoother the surface is gonna be. So if you notice that you're getting too much ridges for this amount of speed, definitely crank that up. It is just my reference that I'm giving you guys and what I'm comfortable. I know a lot of y'all do use it at a higher speed. For the prep, definitely recommend don't go past 4, but for everything else, feel free to tweak that and go higher or lower as your comfort is. Now at this point, we're gonna go ahead and make sure that that shape is nice and crisp. So I'm taking that same hand file and we're gonna be filing those sides, making sure everything is super straight. And then I flip the hand around to look at the nails from her perspective and file the tip that way. Now, quick little tip, I don't show this often, but if you feel like it's still not crisp enough, take your e-file and do what I'm doing at this point. And it kind of just helps make everything thinner in the area, so it makes the shape extra crisp. Now I'm gonna be going in with the sponge buffer from Profiles Backstage and buffing those nails to make sure that that surface is nice and smooth for our gel polish nail art application. Now I know a lot of y'all have seen this design. It is definitely trending right now and it is super easy to achieve. So definitely recommend you guys giving it a go in your favorite color. I'm gonna be using this beautiful mint bluish green color. I don't know what you would consider mint. Some people say it's green, some people say it's blue. To me, it's both mixed together. I'm gonna go in and do Frenchies for her entire set. My girl loves Frenchies and I ain't mad at it because I do too. So every time she comes in, we know we're gonna either do some neutral colors or some Frenchies or both. So it's always fun. I'm taking the long liner from Veeda Bella and I'm gonna be doing the outline first and then I start infilling all the area. Now I kind of eyeball where it is going to start and I compare it to the other nails just to make sure that everything is nice and cohesive. But of course, sometimes I mess up a little bit. So I take my oopsie brush from Veeda Bella and I just take a little bit of young nail swipe on that. Very minimal amount is very important. And then you just pretty much swipe away the excess gel paint or gel polish and you get the perfect crisp Frenchie. I did go ahead and cure in the light for 60 seconds. Next, we're going in with the top coat. I ran out of my gloss it from Not Polished, so we're just gonna go with this one. It's a better option anyways for lighter colors, and since she does have a very light color, we're using the stain resistant top coat from Young Nails. I'm gonna be adding a good layer of that onto the surface of her nails. We're gonna be texturizing the design on top, so I wanna make sure that her base is nice and protected. So I'm going in, adding that thin layer and curing in the light for a full 60 seconds. Do note, this has a tacky layer. So as soon as she is out of the light, I try to remember. Sometimes it definitely slips my mind. And one time adding cuticle oil is when I notice, but always remember to wipe those sides before you go in the light. And I'm now grabbing a lint-free wipe, a little bit of Young Nail swipe and removing that tacky layer. Now for the design portion, we're gonna be doing this thick gel type of design. The pretty much key to the design is you're going to do the line slanted towards the center of the nail. So from the left side, you're gonna bring it into the right side. And then from the right side, you're gonna bring it into the left side. I'm using gem gel from Not Polished for reference. Y'all can use whatever thick gel you guys have. A lot of people use builder gel. I just think gem gel is the way to go because I have it with me and I already know the product. So we're gonna be doing our lines using the long liner from Veeda Bella. And again, you can make them as thick as you want, as thin as you want. We're doing kind of like a thick at the top and thin at the bottom type of move. And then we're gonna be curing that in the light again for full 60 seconds. It is important that you fully cure. I went ahead and wiped off the surface of the nail after it was done curing. But that pretty much concludes today's video. Let me know what you guys think down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned a ton. And I'll see you guys next time.